Okay, we're going to tie a cluster midge. It takes a good idea to improve on a proven fly pattern like the Griffin's gnat, and a good idea is just what Rennie Harrop had when he added CDC to the Griffith's gnat. Start this thread right up next to the eye, maybe half an eye size back, but no more than that. We need to come up and use all of that space. If we don't, we'll end up with too big a head on this fly. So I've got some CDC feathers here. I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to trim the center stem out. And my objective here of getting rid of the center stem is that when I stroke these fibers, they come together and form a length of fiber with no stem that is longer than the shank, or around shank length. So I'll take these 2 and I'll get the tips so the tips are even, and then I'll grab the butts of the stems in my hackle pliers and use these hackle pliers to hold these fibers because my fingers are just too big and clunky. So I'll make a wrap around this, just one light wrap, and pull this back, and I feel the stem end just drop right there, drop through, and I'll wrap these fibers down. Wrapping forward, trim that off, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to remove the stem so that when I stroke these fibers I can get a length of fibers about the length of the shank with no stem in there. So one wrap again, pull it in. I feel I can look at it and see and feel that the stem just came through. I check and make sure that those fibers all stayed on top. Trim those CDC feathers off and wrap back, smoothing them down and stopping here. And from here on out it is a Griffith's gnat. It's just those CDC fibers that Rennie Harrop added to increase the buoyancy of the fly and make it a little more visible. So I've got 3 fibers here. This is a size 14 hook. I've got 3 peacock herl fibers here. I'm going to tie them in, wrapping the length of the shank like that, put them in my material clip. And I've got a size 16 grizzly saddle hackle here, even though this is a 14 hook, mainly because I like a little smaller hackle on on Griffith's gnats. So I trim the fibers off the stem. I take a little extra fiber off the bottom. I'll spin my bobbin here so the thread comes up and wraps backwards and leans backwards, and then I'll wrap forward, tying that stem securely in. And come back, and I'm going to build a rope with this peacock herl, the rope wrap technique. I bring the herl out of the material clip, wrap around it twice, hold the thread in the herl in my thumb and forefinger, bring it up parallel with the hook, and then wrap a few times into a rope, and then come down perpendicular to the hook and wrap forward, forming the body. It's a nice reinforced strong body that is the result of this. Come right up to the front, tie this off. Again, I'm not wanting to leave very much room here in front. Usually I'm trying not to crowd the eye. In this case I want to be pretty close to the eye. So I'll do a whip finish knot so I can wrap my hackle, and you have to make a decision here on your pattern as to whether you want a really dense hackle or a fairly sparse hackle. It's up to you. I'll start wrapping here, show you what I mean. Get these wraps going. I'll keep these nice and tight. Wrap all the way up, and you see I've got quite a dense hackle base here, if you will. Or if you want it sparse or sparser, you can wrap wide wraps and come up to the front. I kind of go for the denser look, so I'll unwrap here and re-wrap with a little closer wrap. I think I can get one more wrap in here. There we go. Come underneath this feather, over it, underneath again and over it, and I can trim that off. And all I've got to do is stand this CDC up now. And we're not really trying to make a wing. We want the CDC to go back and blend in a little bit with those fibers. So I'll take and do my whip finish knot here. Just 3 wraps, that's all I really wanted to have the space for. Trim that off and comb that CDC back into those grizzly fibers. And there you have it. There's a cluster midge tied using rotary fly tying techniques.